I hope they heard that.
Of course. Has become a father.
Yeah.
Wait, what? 2 days ago, I thought. It's Friday. Better get that birthday right. 14. Yes, and he is currently finding very quickly that his time will be dwindling. Slipping out the door.
I mean, to be fair, if he was already home by this time, then he would have been able to he probably would have been able to get on the podcast. But I think he's just now like getting out of the hospital today.
Yes. So, Skeptic, congratulations, man. Dad. You are a dad now, but you are also, unfortunately, you're going to be not with so much time.
There we go.
Unfortunately, you're not going to have a lot of time for yourself, which is the reason why I'm saying this right now. We will try to compensate for that. But congrats to my boy. But now I can use this. I'm going to put bam. Now I can use that. Ugh, it feels so good to put a missing sign over the face of my friend.
What? Can
He's
we
missing.
talk about that?
He's missing right
Are
now.
you sure?
He's missing.
So you like putting people on milk cartons?
I mean, it helped for Marvel vs. Cat. No, wait.
Oh, what? Excuse me?
Wait.
Okay. So this is how it's gonna go.
I'm not trying to burn the company to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to do that.
Panic. I'm just saying. I think he's been talking about how if you were missing, no one would miss you or notice. You might be next. Better watch out.
No.
I've already been on the milk carton. I was on the milk carton when I was on the show.
You're still on that milk carton, actually. You're right. Guess that makes our guest for today the next candidate. We have with us a returning guest.
Yes.
Who is just the same as I, as in he is a campaigner. You guys correctly remember the person who I am describing. It would be
Confused order.
Confused order.
I have been summoned with 160 primo gems. Hello.
Oh God. Now you need a quote to go with that, sir.
So if we remember correctly, we were calling you Stacy last time you were here, right?
No, you were calling me like what do I call this again? Ashley.
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 Yeah.
How could I forget Ashley?
Yeah.
When was this?
That's right.
This was last time.
Our
Ashley is on deck.
I am on deck. Thank you very much for having me. As
Absolutely.
impromptu waking me up, at like 2:00 in the morning, when I was already awake still playing Genshin.
Right.
Gotta farm them. Gotta grind them,
You're
gotta
welcome.
grind them all.
Yep. Always there for you, bro. Always there.
Thank you very much.
I had to get you up because you had to open your loot box. I mean, your prima gems. You had to get your prima gems to open up your loot box. I mean, your wishes.
Exactly. My wish came true. Thank you very much, Sync.
Yep, and it cost you $0. $0.
Yes, don't ask me how much I really spent last night for primo gems.
Oh my God.
The question is, how much did you spend overall on the game?
Oh, do not ask me. I'll just let you know more than Final Fantasy 14 with my 4 active accounts combined right now.
Huh?
Yee.
Last order, do you think you have a You know what? We'll ask that later. 'Cause
No,
that's not what this
I
episode
budget.
is.
This is an intervention.
This is not what this episode's about today.
Just send me cup noodles and I will survive. Don't worry.
We're
Sorry.
not gonna. No, we're not starving.
Noodles are a bomb, bro. Of course I'll send you some.
It's
Thank
his.
you. Thank you so much.
We just need to. We have to pay
This
for this.
this podcast sponsored by Final Fantasy 15.
Exactly.
What? No, we're sponsored by Cup of Noodles. That's a better sponsor. What are you talking about, bro?
Huh?
Oh, I forgot. The two kind of are interchangeable since there's so much cup noodles in that game.
Aren't they the same company?
Yes.
No, I don't think they're the same company. I don't think Cup of Noodles
Last
is the
I
same
checked.
company.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
thought that was just a big old sponsor. They were just like, let's have Cup of Noodles in the video game. And we can
No.
sponsor the crap out of it, and people would just
No.
start eating Cup of Noodles.
Cup of noodles?
Yeah, I don't. Isn't Cup of Noodles
Show
owned?
some respect to our sponsor, dude. It's not cup of noodles.
Cup
It's
noodles.
cup
It's
noodles.
cup noodles. Sheesh, man. Yeah, cup of noodles
think
is like
this
some
is-
off-brand, like
That's
no
the
name
other
crap.
stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have to look this up. Okay,
Go for
it's
it.
from
Just-
Neeson. It's Neeson. It's Neeson. Okay, all right.
Just know
Yeah.
that it's not the quilted quicker picker upper, okay?
Japan's not ready for that. It will blow their mind. They have no idea what they're in for if they get that bounty.
Bounty.
On their heads? Yeah. Tell me about it.
Oh, no.
Since you're putting people in milk cartons.
You better check
It
your
all
job
comes
security.
back to that.
You better
Oh,
check your
yeah.
job security.
I like how you looped it back to that anime. I really liked it. It's a
Mhm.
very campaigner thing of you to do.
She still wants to bring up the
Very
issue.
Tony Stark moment.
The issues. Well, today we have a certain subject that I was almost fired up for today. I did say we were going to talk about this in a past podcast. Anima does have his subject today, and I do want him to go first with that.
Mhm.
But there is like a main subject that I want to hit today. Do you want to start with what you want to talk about in terms of your topic?
Yeah, first I'm going to get the one thing out of the way. Has anybody else seen Invincible? Has anyone watched that?
Yes, and
Not yet.
unfortunately, I have also read the book
Why do you say unfortunately?
because I know what's going to happen.
Oh.
That's why I say it's unfortunate.
Well, I've heard that there was a comic. It was based off of the comic, and
Right.
the meme that popped out like has the show say it different in the book is how everybody's quoting it. I don't know, really nitpicky stuff, but I'm gonna watch it. I don't care about how it ends. I think that it's the journey. It's not the destination.
Bro,
And they might change it up too.
it's good. I would say the show is really good and it's faithful. So watch it, and don't be me. Don't read comics. Don't do it. It's not good when they come out with a show with it, and then it makes you want to read the comics. But in my case, I read it beforehand, and I was surprised when they came out saying that they're going to make a show out of Invincible.
Damn it.
It was a smart move, I will say, but it's a really good show. Recommended for everybody. It has gore in it, so the first 5 minutes of the show is kind of misleading. It's not Justice League.
Oh yeah. Well, you would think there'd be more blood and gore in DC, but whatever.
I mean,
So
Nice.
Zack Snyder cut. It's a Snyder cut Justice League that we're looking
Exactly.
at.
yeah.
Okay.
It's actually 3 hours instead of 45 minutes each
Wow.
episode.
So with that out of the way, here's my real topic. So Sonic Omens. Ringing any
Yeah.
bells?
Yes, that is that really good Sonic fan game that
Yes.
has a little bit of controversy behind it, but it is still a solid game. Like they put a lot of
Correct.
hard work into it.
It
And-
is probably the best 3D boost formula based
There we go.
Sonic fan game in existence.
Right.
What's crazy is that it's only natural to want to have some compensation for the hard work, but where the controversy comes in is that they have a Patreon for the project, which means they are asking for money
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
property that isn't theirs. Now,
Right.
at first I was just kind of like, well, what's the big deal, you know? Like I kind of don't always just I always don't necessarily want to assume everything. So I ask, all right, so if it's a Patreon situation, does that still create the issue? And everybody was like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this will not Sega typically, or Sonic Team, or whoever really is monitoring this stuff, typically turns a blind eye to the fan game community because they're never really asking for money. They're not crossing any legal boundaries. Um, and so there's like a whole Sonic fan game convention. I always wondered about that. I was just like, how come they get away with that? Oh, it's because no one asked for any money for it. Got it. This is all passion projects. But this one has the audacity to ask for some money, and people are concerned that it may create a bad relationship with the IP holders, Sonic Team, Sega, whatever you want to say. Um, and that's where people are upset. Other fan game creators or other fan game projects are putting them under a lot of scrutiny and under a lot of fire because it could change the way that the community moves forward with having the IP just as like a free use kind of a thing. You know, like we're not asking for any money, we're not asking for any thing in return, just, you know, check it out. So what do you guys think though? Like, do you think that Sega will say, you know what, we've let you guys make all these fan games, and even though we literally hired a team to make a game for us, you know, we're gonna start cracking down. We're gonna start pulling um, that Nintendo card and just like, what do you call it? Just taking everything down. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
They're
know what the
they're
term
gonna
is, but
pull
Cease and
like
desist,
yeah,
more or
yeah,
less,
cease
right?
and desist
Yeah.
on it. I If they are a company, which they are, the smart thing to do is probably try to work with them. But since they're just a fan game, right, and they really do need to protect their property, they probably want to shut down the Patreon so that they're not gaining any kind of monetary value. Because no matter how you look at it, they're gaining some sort of monetary value on the word I'm trying to say, intellectual property that is not theirs.
Yep,
So
that's right.
right, what they're doing right now is illegal. So I think Sega will take the matter at hands and shut down the operation. As for the game itself, they'll probably say you could still make the game, but you can't profit from it.
okay.
That that might be like that's probably like the thing that they will do, especially since they are still a company. Pulling a Nintendo and shutting down the project itself, I don't see happening.
Okay. Now, do you think that it would create bad blood with Sega and Sonic Team and them with other creators? I feel like they know that most of the community doesn't do that.
I
They
think
don't try to profit.
I think the community would understand because when you see Sonic fan games, you see people who broke their backs to make it, not for monetary value, but because they love the game. They love Sonic. They love like pretty much the entirety of the series and stuff like that, and they're just
Mhm.
bringing out their creativity in that. So I don't when even with people who are making mods and making games, they could probably understand when they look at this, like, yeah, they're making money off of property that's not theirs. So I think people will understand. I don't think it's gonna make any bad tension or bad blood. um the only thing that would make bad blood is, like I said, they would shut down the project. And if they
You
do,
mean between them? I'm talking about bad blood for like Sega, like,
Sega,
and against the entire community of fan
that's yeah, that's
games.
what I mean. That's what I mean. Like Sega and the
Mm,
community. I don't think it's gonna be bad blood if they shut down the Patreon. I don't. I think they'll understand. The community will
mm,
understand because they all know it's not the intellectual property of the person. It's Sega's. They know
all
this,
right,
and they. I mean, I don't know how many Sonic mods has been out there, but as
tons.
tons, right? But since Sega has been like really cool and chill with people making mods and stuff, making stuff that people like really go back and keep playing Sonic, They really don't have to do anything to promote Sonic at this point. But the community knows not to turn it into some sort of monetary value or monetary situation. They know this this is not okay.
Why do you think they did that though? How do you think they justified it?
They probably are justifying like the work that's needed for it. Like, this is probably funding their lifestyle and
Hmm.
not the game. And that's probably what they're saying. That the reason why the Patreon is there is for them to live off of, or to get some sort of income
Hmm.
while they make the game. But if you need Patreon to live, and you're using that to live while also making a game, like you're not working, you're essentially turning that project into your work because people want you to live to make the game.
Hmm.
Thus, you're crossing a line that they may. I think they know. I honestly think they know what they're doing, but
Hmm.
they should also know that this is not okay.
Um, Now here's my biggest questions, or here are my biggest questions, I should say. So do you think that if Sega sees the game, a lot of people are interested in supporting it, but they can't? Do you think that they would ever pick them up for more than just a 2D property? But do you think that they would work with them for the 3D games?
That's that's hard to say. Um, the opportunity for the team of Sonic Mania was that Christian Whitehead literally took a game that they had, made it on mobile, and mobile is like the biggest thing in Japan, and
Mm,
he made it work to an excellent degree. So they saw value in Christian Whitehead. They also saw value in him having a team, which was Cannonhead, who helped make Sonic Mania along with Christian Whitehead. So they saw value in terms of like money and in terms of their intellectual property being handed down to them. For 3D Sonic, they have a team that is dedicated for 3D Sonic. So I don't think they'll give him the opportunity to join a team or give them the opportunity to join the team since they already have a team. I think they're already in the midst of making a game. They have not said anything, obviously. And they're already working with Sony making the second Sonic movie, so they have their hands full with that. But for the next game, they said they're taking their time to make this one.
wait,
So,
question. Did you just say it? Wait, who's working on the movie?
Sony, I think, was it Sony?
I think that sounds right. Check.
I think it was Sony.
Mm, okay.
I
Um,
mean, was it Sony? I don't want to be wrong. If
Let me check. Let me check.
whoever Sega is working with to make the Sonic movie.
yeah.
It is. What the hell? I only see the director
Paramount.
here. Let me look.
Paramount.
Is it
Okay.
Paramount? Oh, it's Paramount.
Okay, so it's Paramount. So they're working with Paramount with that. Making a movie is not easy, so they have their hands full with that. But the last time they made a game, they literally said in like a post in Twitter saying that they will take the time for the next 3D game. So they're just taking their time. If the and they're in the midst of making the game, obviously, so they're not going to pull out somebody mid project and try to catch them up to their standards, to what they already did and what they already know.
So we're talking about Sonic Team's working with Paramount to make the movie, and that's why they're not making a game right now.
No, Sega is working with Paramount, and Sonic Team is working on the game. I don't
What
know. I don't know what team is working with with Sega and Paramount. Who's
you
making the game?
say the game? Do you know if there's a game that's been teased even?
I
Because I
mean,
haven't heard anything. It's like Sonic's 35th anniversary right now. They said they were gonna drop some news. I don't know
yeah.
why they've been so quiet lately, but
there hasn't been any kind of like leaks or news on the game.
Mm.
I mean, they showed leaks for the movie, so we know the movie is underway.
Yeah,
But
but there was a teaser at the end of the last one, so I mean, that's no surprise. Um, but yeah, I just kind of wonder. I think about like, and I'm coming from a mind where I don't really know. So I'm like, all right, well, what would it take for them to try to take on anyone really from any of these fan projects for the 3D games? I guess that I guess the value of what Christian Whitehead did was that he cracked a code on a medium they were trying probably themselves to do, and worked out a deal to sort it all out. And then with it came a lot of media, which was awesome. It came a lot of exposure, it came a lot of victory and success for said creators. But the question is, what's next? I feel like I know there's going to be another Sonic Mania because it was successful. Like, why not just do it again? Um, Especially since it will probably give them an opportunity to make more original stages, which would also give, and that's what I'm hoping for the most, give T Lopez an option to like compose his own stuff in accordance with Jun Sanui because they have been working together a lot on remixing old songs,
right,
which shows that they are in the studio together. um, but what I'm really wondering is, even though everybody's praying for like a revival of Sonic Adventure, I'm wondering if they're going to start thinking, can we scout more people for some more of the 3D properties? Because it seems like there's a lot of, people putting time and energy and are willing to work out bugs and issues and um like troubleshoot just the general game plan designs or game designs or just whatever, programming, what have you, for like the 3D games. I wonder what it would take for them to say, you know what, these guys have something figured out that we can really use. Let's see what we can do. Because the fan game, back to the actual idea here, besides just the controversy, the fan game Sonic Omens, um, it's it's big on storytelling. It has a lot of cutscenes, beautifully rendered. The graphics of the game are pretty amazing. The controls are fantastic. From what I can tell, the game controls like a combination of like generations, the speed boost formula, and like some elements from like Sonic Adventure for just like running on walls or um like I think there's a bounce function or a bounce bracelet or somewhere. I don't know. Like
there's
it's not that one game that just had like, I think it was momentum based. It was like a momentum based 3D game that actually worked. It wasn't that. It's still boost formula. The level design's a little iffy. It reminds me of Sonic Adventure level design, which isn't the greatest.
hmm
But what they really nailed was how they scripted scenes, the voice work. They really nailed the like story, so to speak. They nailed the like boss fights. Um, they got a lot of things right, and I don't think it's finished, but everybody is praising it as the best Sonic fan game, which is a huge feat because there's a ton of them out there. And it's one of those games where when you play it, it feels right at home. Like it just feels like a Sonic game. There's a lot of references. There's a lot of homage to the shows, the movies, the everything. There's but one thing that does bother me a little bit is that they couldn't get a dedicated composer because they are also using like um Sonic X music. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know if they reorchestrated it, but like the fact that they're using those late motives is also like you can't profit off of that either. That creates even bigger copyright concern.
yeah,
Because that's not even your music, and it would have been so easy to just commission the music or something, or hire somebody to make the music. I don't know, but with that said, I feel as though if it does become a concern where Sonic Team has to address it, I wonder if there can be any action to say, well, hey, these guys got the closest to really making a solid Sonic game, using your guys' formula, using your guys' assets. Like, why not just bring them on, see what they can do? Like, find out if they can work with the team to create something compelling. Because I think the biggest win for the fan game is that it's interesting in how they build up what's going on. Like character interactions aren't just there. They have like Amy calling Sonic out of nowhere and him like in the middle of something and him like dodging questions that she has for him, acting like he's in a tunnel. You know what I mean? Like things like that feel natural to what has already been established with the characters' relationships. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like this big character reveal. Like she doesn't physically show up. She doesn't have to be there for her to have dialogue. And that kind of was like right there, just a small little nuance thing that makes a huge difference in how the storytelling goes. Because Sonic game storytelling can be really clumsy and the bloated cast. And I say bloated because I don't hate the characters, but because they don't seem to know what to do with them, doesn't necessarily need to fill itself into each crevice of the story or the gameplay if they don't really have a solid idea of direction for the game. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I feel as though these guys got a lot of things right, and if they really did get into trouble for it, at least they'd be noticed. That's my only theory as to why they actually asked for money. Almost as if the controversy itself was also supposed to bring to the attention the people in the interested parties. It kind of seems like a bait, but I can't make that determination. I don't know enough about it. I haven't really bothered to look into it because I've been busy. But I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on it, because they really did do a good job. It's free to play. You don't have to pay any money to get the game, but I would highly recommend even checking out a playthrough of it if you guys don't know what I'm talking about or haven't seen it. It's solid. It's absolutely solid, and I would play it and I'd play it again. Um, and if Sonic Team was just like, you know what, let's do it, I would be really interested to see what the result would be. Although I highly doubt they would bring them in for advice on how to tell the story. That's the one thing I feel like they should do, but at the same time, don't think it's going to happen. But it still would be progress.
I think a lot of it is it's like hopeful and wishful thinking.
It is.
Especially when it comes to like the 3D aspect of the game. The 3D aspect of the game I would think is solely controlled by Sonic Team. And they'll take advice probably here and there, but I don't think they're going to pull anybody in. There's always the fact that the Sonic Team is, I think, is mostly Japanese, which they can work with like other people outside of that, but there is that language barrier. And then the second thing is that right now we can assume that they're already in the midst of a project. So
They,
unless
did
another
you say language barrier? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like there is a Sega of America, right?
there is a Sega of America, but they work on different things.
So where's Sonic
Yes,
Team based? Is that only in Japan?
Yes.
Oh,
that's in
geez.
Japan. Yeah.
So Sonic Team consistently just does everything from there. There's no Sonic Team of America?
So they used to try to do a Sonic Team that's based in Japan and based in America, and it just didn't work, which is the reason why we had Sonic CD
Oh,
and
you know
Sonic
what?
2.
I remember that. I do remember because that was even back then a language barrier situation.
Right.
Um, where
And
two hands weren't able to talk.
right, and that got complicated. And even if we have like the technology to talk now, um, it just it's just easier to work with what you have on hand right now within your vicinity, especially in Japan, where a lot of people have like they have already like lifted some restraint due to like COVID and stuff. So it's a lot cleaner over there. So people are in the office and they're talking and stuff like that. And then there's the American-based Sega in California, which is they're working on their own game over there. I don't know which one in particular they're doing.
Well, hold
Um,
on. Who reached out to Christian Whitehead and his team? They're
so
definitely not
so
Japanese.
so from what I know, Christian Whitehead was contacted by a representative of Sonic Team, which got in contact with Sega of America, which got in contact with Christian Whitehead. They organized something so that Christian Whitehead himself had his own team,
Mhm.
and he would answer who's under Sonic Team of Japan.
Mhm.
So that was coordinated in that way. So
Okay.
this is the reason why I'm saying when it comes to the project, I'm not saying that I doubt they can be hired. I'm just saying probably not right now.
Yeah, well, sure. I
Yeah.
mean, the wishful thinking, I get it. I feel like I would have never thought to see the day that even that would happen. You know? Like, it just wasn't something I visualized as real, but it did happen. So I'm not necessarily saying that it's going to continue to happen, but I feel like, what do you guys think? Like, if you guys check out Sonic Omens,
Hmm.
if you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out and just think through, like, what do you think would happen if the sheer amount of people that put their time, effort, and soul into like making these Sonic fan games. Like, what if they did that and then let them like build their own team and so like same situation? What if it did happen and these guys who again put a lot of blood and sweat into it were paid now to create something?
Re,
Do
re,
you think it would be a success over
re,
like the official
you need to
product or
re-enter the
what?
room. You need to re-enter the room.
Uh,
You're on the tuning. There you go. There you go.
because I put up the stream twice. I tried to pull up mod move without killing audio. Previous.
If you're doing too
I
much on your
actually
internet,
figured it
dude,
out.
you're doing too much on your internet. I don't know. You might be doing a lot.
I'm doing just one thing, and it's engaging with chat, my friend.
Oh,
Continue.
No, he's just
My,
pulling a Daft Punk. That's what he's doing. He's just imitating Daft Punk right now.
I don't know.
like usual.
I can't appreciate auto-tuning over actual, linguistics.
Forgive me, man. I'm trying.
It's like, remember when I ate that mini computer? Oh yeah.
It's coming back up. But
So,
my input on this whole thing is that I don't know what it would like. There's a big difference between a 3D game and a 2D game because 3D games, especially ones with cutscenes and scenarios like that, that's a whole nother kind of like a beast basically. Like it's different from like the Sonic Mania games where like the 2D and like the more simplified kind of thing.
Right.
3D is different,
Right.
especially if you're bringing story into it. It's not just graphics, it's not just plot. Like you have to like coordinate with the whole Sonic team. First of all, to make sure that the lore is consistent if you're gonna make a story. Make sure that the graphics are up to snuff if you wanna, they also it's music comes into play here. Like music is a big part because you can get away with synthesized music for like Sonic Mania stuff, but if you're gonna get a 3D game, you're gonna want like real music. So you're gonna have to like coordinate with their like their whole like in company music like a department area
Kind of wish
to
they
have
right.
that
they
created.
followed that during Sonic Forces because like all of classic Sonic's music was all like twang and synthesized.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know about all that. Like Sonic Generations classic Sonic's music was like on a like way better on another level. But
Hmm.
I think what they were trying to do with that one, they were just trying to bring back nostalgia, classic
Nostalgia.
nostalgia, and I'm like, that's not gonna
Yeah,
work this time,
it
bro.
didn't work. Yeah. It rarely works in 3D games bringing in the classic style of song. Like
Right,
other unless you actually make your 3D game look retro.
Right.
right.
But yeah, so like I would love to see these guys. Like I haven't seen the game play itself, but if it's as good as you say, and I do believe you, like I would love to see them given a chance. But that's a huge coordinated effort you're talking about here because
Mm,
the folks with Sonic Mania, that's easier. It's a sprite game. It's
mm,
simple gameplay.
Right.
If
mm,
you want a full 3D experience, that's a whole different kind of category there.
And you got to remember that Christian Whitehead worked with Sega before standalone
Mm,
when he brought Sonic CD onto the mobile. They just needed to just get in contact with him, talk about business, talk about the code, talk about like how he did it, if they could implement it into their game. That was easier. And all they really had to do since they had contact with him before is to call him up again. And Christian was just like, these guys are good. So Headcanon came in because of that, and they've made tons of Sonic mods, tons of Sonic games themselves alone, and them working together, Christian Whitehead and Headcanon, who already had, albeit whatever means it took, the assets of classic Sonic, it was a lot easier. As Last Order said, it's a lot easier to do like sprite based um, gaming. It's like making a movie compared to just like making a little short film when it comes to making a 3D game and a little sprite game like Sonic Mania, which I'm not saying Sonic Mania is definitely play the game. It's great. Like I'm not saying that Sonic Mania is less than the 3D games overall, but it's a lot more effort for 3D games, a lot more coordination.
Mhm.
Them just getting in contact with them could be easy, but then they have to start the planning process. They have to talk about the budget. The music is also a thing. Like they're not. This is Sega we're talking about. They're not going to be like, "Hey, you make music," right? No, they're going to find somebody who's actually talented and have
Yep.
good coordinated music, like they always apparently do with pretty much almost all of their games. I'm not saying every one of them, but almost all of them. Like Fantasy Star is good. I'm getting off track here. I would love to see this team that made Sonic Omens work with Sonic Team in some form or fashion. Somewhere in the future, but it will probably. I would see it will probably be them adding their talents to Sonic Team rather than
Yeah.
making their own game
Yeah,
as
I
well.
agree there. Yeah, I agree there. I think the company will just take them on, especially even for just for projects, but they'll be working with the Sonic team as part of the team, like as part of the bigger group, as
Right.
opposed to them just doing their own project thing. Because also voice acting comes into play as well. And they need to hire voice actors.
Yeah,
So,
Mm.
they're in the midst
yeah.
because they have to replace Sonic's voice now.
Mm.
Since the old Sonic voice retired, Chris Redfield, he's no longer uh, he's no longer Sonic's voice, who I actually really liked. A lot of people didn't like his voice for apparently. Everybody was like, "Oh, but 4Kid's voice was great," and I'm like, he was
Wait,
all
hold
right.
up.
He was all right.
You telling me Chris Redfield played Sonic's voice? I did not know that.
Yeah, the
I didn't
actor
know
for
that either.
yeah, actor for Chris Redfield. His voice actor is Sonic the Hedgehog.
So you're telling me so you're telling me that Sega deprived us of a scene where Sonic punches a boulder out of the way. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's
I
been
feel like they delegated that to Knuckles, unfortunately. But Dan Green, doesn't voice anybody that does that I don't know. At least Dan Green was Sonic X, Knuckles' voice. Who the heck voices Knuckles in the games, though?
in the games. I think it's the same person.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Really?
I feel like it's the same person. His voice is too similar.
Huh.
Knuckles.
Interesting.
So right now, Knuckles' voice actor is Travis Willingham from Sonic. Yeah, it was Travis Willingham.
Hmm.
And the last voice from Sonic X is Dan Green.
Right. Who I don't even think is the voice in Sonic Boom, the series,
Right.
which was the most recent TV.
Yeah, that's Travis Willingham.
We
Yeah.
don't talk about Sonic Boom.
Well, the show is really good compared to like the game, unfortunately. The
It,
thing is, like that show, it takes a lot from being self-aware.
uh,
Um,
right.
yeah. So like it's very aware of the criticism and the like Sonic has always been about that. So they captured the show just fine, even though the models nobody really cares for. But I
Well,
think it also should be said that although now they got to find a new voice. I mean, geez, didn't we just have like John Ralphio do a good job with Sonic at the movie or in the movie? So
That
it's like
in the movie that
he,
was Ben Schwartz.
yeah, no, John Ralphio, I'll call him
Oh, okay.
because that's what everybody knows him from is it's Parks and Recs.
Oh,
but
I know him as Ben
and
Schwartz, unfortunately.
I mean, Ben Schwartz, John Ralphio, is his name. All right, fine. I'm not mad. I think they'll probably just find somebody else. But there's a lot. There's a lot. And I mean a lot of people who know how to do that voice.
there, Yeah, a lot of
We're never
people.
gonna have any shortage of people who can like define Sonic's voice.
So a lot of people imitate Jason Griffith's way
Mhm.
of talking, which is the kind of voice acting, which I don't know how to define
Hey,
that. They're like,
talk about low budget flights.
yeah, way too cool. If we're talking about that, that's Ryan Drummond, right? I would say Ryan Drummond was like the first iconic voice, but then no, there's Jaleel White. I'm sorry, Jaleel White is the first because he was the
Jill,
first voice. He was the first voice. Jaleel White, yeah, Urkel,
yes,
Jalil White was the original, which
yes.
again, Urkel, right?
right?
See, you can't always just dismiss that everybody knows Jalil White as Steve Urkel. Okay, they see him. Well, if they see him now, they won't know that
I
that's Urkel, but still.
I actually heard there was a story where people only recognized him as Urkel while he went to a party. And he was pissed off because he was just like, "But that's not me, bro.
No,
I'm not Urkel." Which that's just a
he's Stefan Urkel in real life.
little.
That was his real personality when he did that, which was hilarious. But you know what else? Like, what's Carlton's real name? Do you know? I remember
Uh,
asking this
Alfonso
before,
Ribeiro. Alfonso
right?
Ribeiro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I know on something.
what has
It's
he done
Alfonso.
since then? Though is the real question now.
He's doing
Uh,
the funny videos, funny song videos.
yes, that's right. He's doing that now. See, what's he doing?
So nothing big screen, nothing TV, just
That
like
Funniest home
TV.
video is TV.
is it?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, what is this? I need to
You
know.
don't. Oh my God.
It sounded like a web series of some sort. I was like, what?
Show.
You've never heard of America's Funniest Home Videos?
Oh, America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah,
I didn't hear
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Never mind.
yeah.
Oh, that's not that man. That's like Drew Carey doing
Don't you
God, what
dare
is it?
say
The Price is
don't.
Right or something?
I thought you were
Well, it
just gonna
was
say whose line is it anyway.
I'll say
No,
who's
he hasn't been doing that for a while. That was Aisha Taylor.
Right now it's Aisha Taylor, but like, I mean, either or.
Oh, he's also been
He's working.
directing as well.
He's
Yeah,
working.
he's been directing as well. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well, if he's more behind the scenes, I get
He's
that.
the
But I'm just
behind the
like,
scenes guy.
he hasn't had a major starring role in a
All
long
right.
time.
Well, if we're talking about voice actors right now,
so
Yeah.
who's favorite? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was done. That was it. He doesn't need a starring role. He's hosting
Right,
stuff.
but
Let's
that's why
continue.
nobody's gonna know him as anything else but Carlton.
That's not true because he says his name every time the show comes on.
I don't watch that show, bro. Like, I thought that show died years ago.
Not,
That's
not
that's your
That's an immortal
issue. And
TV
I want to
show.
get back with the show.
So,
You guys are cutting out. I think it's me.
I don't know.
Am I roboting?
No, it's not. It's not just you.
it's
Oh.
just last order this time. It might be me as well.
When you said world's
Oh,
funniest home videos or
I
something,
don't know.
I could not hear half of it. That's why I probably didn't know what you were talking about.
All right. But okay,
Voice
just
actors.
to end it off. Like who's his favorite? Like your favorite Sonic voice actor. Like chat can come into this too. Who is your favorite voice actor? Because for me, to be honest, I have to say this is probably very controversial for a lot of people who are actual Sonic fans, but I really did like Roger Craig Smith because he was really more down to earth with Sonic
I
rather
did.
than being like so like he was cartoony, but he wasn't so damn cartoony. It kind of made me want to like my spine was tingling every time I heard like the third sentence of his conversations.
He was a more mature Sonic. I think that the whole point of Sonic right now is that he is aging slowly. And they kind of wanted a more mature Sonic, you know.
I think
Like,
they wanted a self-aware Sonic.
yeah, well, even so, he's so self-aware that when somebody referred to Sonic using Roger over a mic, he was like, he's talking about me. He uses real voice. I was just like, all right, like, see, this is the kind of stuff I look for. But yeah, every Sonic's kind of a self-aware Sonic to an extent. I think that this Sonic's a little bit more like he just sounds more refined. I get it. They kind of got out of the like early '90s cartoony thing, you know, early 2000s, whatever the hell that was. I'm looking at you, Limp Bizkit. And then now we're here in like the early 2020s now. Sheesh. I wonder what the new Sonic's gonna be. Like, I wonder if they're gonna change the voice direction or if
Shadow's voice actor.
what about him?
Which one? There has been a few.
I like this original.
His original was probably his best one. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
because the Sonic Boom version in the show and in the cartoon it was like Force. It was Force villain, which I was like, man, I don't know about that.
I think they were going for that though. That was where I got that from Eggman's whole he's so cool. Like they were just making fun of Shadow and the sheer amount of edginess he brings in everything.
But like,
Like yeah, I feel like he was supposed to be a joke.
but like, his voice actor from like Sonic Adventure 2, I thought that was like perfect.
Well, it was his breakout.
It was his debut, yeah, but
Yeah.
his and whoa, was it really? It was Ryan Drummond. Never mind.
Yeah.
It was Ryan Drummond. So all he had to do was make Sonic sound evil for it to be perfect.
Mhm. Same
Uh,
voice actor. You know what's crazy? Everybody gives Ryan Drummond all that flack, but then you realize that he voiced Shadow,
and funny enough,
and everything changes.
Jason Griffith did Shadow, and Kirk Thornton is now Shadow. So Kirk Thornton is the more like villainized voice.
Mhm.
So okay,
It's not the best take, but you know what? Shadow doesn't really have a fairly strong identity right now, anyway.
they're really throwing in that he's the evil Sonic.
I mean, like his whole entire birth was kind of based just on that. Yeah, he's evil Sonic. I mean, we tried to give him a whole entire backstory, and that got ruined way back when. So now he's just kind of around, Nothing really. Again, poor character development with like I want to say overtime lore of the Sonic franchise and the games. It's just like as the games lost story direction, so did the characters. You know, like backstories just don't make sense or add up anymore. Even though the lore is there's still a continuity. I feel like you don't really get a good idea of what the characters are supposed to be if they're just really based on these really surface level tropes. You know, like now he said no. And Skeptic's here in spirit, mind you. He said he thinks that Shadow has the best character development in the franchise. I think he's the only character aside from a few that has any character development.
So in terms of character development, it's Shadow, Shadow, Tails, E102, Gamma.
E102. He lived for one game.
But he still had like one of the best character developments.
He did, and that's scary to think about. That nothing since that game, Sonic Adventure 1, mind you, not even 2,
Right.
not even Rouge. Like no one else has had any character development. It doesn't even count that Shadow is one of the best because he's the only one who had a major focus
Yeah,
around his.
Shadows would be like number 1, and Tails I would say would be like number 2. No. E102 is probably number 2, and Tails is number 3. Tails actually had character development within Sonic
Right.
Adventure. At the very
But only
least.
in the Adventure series.
Only
Like-
in Adventure. Sonic Adventure 2, he was like, I'm Tails, hi. I'm
Yeah,
sidekick.
it's just like-
I'm the sidekick, and I'm
I'm
smart.
here. Tails in Sonic Adventure 1, that character development was real. I think that like when you look at 06, what the hell even is going on?
Oh, I
Like,
forgot. No, you're absolutely correct. There are more characters with character development. Both
right, you have Silver.
Silver and Blaze the Cat.
Blaze the Cat's character development started in Rush though.
Right, but she still had development.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she didn't. I'm saying so you got to remember that there's more to it than 06. There's that too. But
Right.
even so, it's like Blaze just came from another dimension. Okay, cool. Silver was supposed to be the Trunks of the series. I don't really know if it panned over as well. We like him. It's not like he's
Just go
a
buy
bad
the
character.
comics. But go buy the comics, not the game. That'd be too much because
There you go.
Sonic has too much development. since
You
seeing how he had to go from being an egotistical know-it-all, well, not know-it-all, an egotistical, oh, everything will be fine, and literally just going day by day, he had to be grounded at the
you
very
know,
least. But we'll talk
I
about it
think
another
that the
time.
comics are definitely the way to go if you're looking for character
But
development. But the game's continuity is not there.
But we're gonna have to veer off a little bit here.
Yeah.
We were on the subject way too long.
We really were. What had to have happened?
We're gonna enter a segue here. Today I will, or right now we're going to go into a different kind of announcement here, and you guys can give your takes on this. But there are two particular games that have gotten a certain amount of attention this weekend. One was Final Fantasy XIV, given that we had a digital fan fest, and they gave us
Mhm.
a bit more information on that. One, they gave us a little bit more of the story, how the story is going to work. They gave us the full trailer, and we got a new job called the Reaper, which is the first in its series in Final Fantasy. And second, there was a beta for Phantasy Star Online. It's ending today, unfortunately, but Phantasy Star Online New Genesis had a closed beta. My opinion on that is that it was way too short and way too small. It was good, but it was just small. If anybody out there is trying to get into like an MMO, these
It's a rocket shoes fit.
Fantasy Stars online is free, and you can just get into it. It's they're co-siding that with the original Fantasy Star Online 2. New Genesis is an updated, I guess you could say, it's not the same game, but it's like, I can't even give you a word for it, but it's its own game. It should be called Fantasy Star Online 3, honestly, but they didn't want to go away from 2. But in Final Fantasy, in 6 months, the new expansion is going to come out. And again, Reaper looks awesome. You literally sign a deal with the devil, and you gain Reaper powers, and that's cool. So
They fixed Dark Knight to be a DPS. That's what they did with Reaper.
Yeah, they basically just said, where's Dark Knight? Oh, he's right here. It's the Reaper. You just can't see it. It's there. I swear. I'd be sad if they got rid of Dark Knight. I would, but I think
No, it's Dark Knight versus Haunted Dark Knight. That's what I say.
It's Dark Knight versus the actual Dark Knight is what you want to say.
Yeah.
The actual
Yeah.
Dark Knight. This is
Yeah.
the real one that they're giving us this time. The other
Exactly.
one, the other one was just a disciple.
It was your phony.
The class mix of a summoner and necromancer and Dark Knight. Yeah, it looks like
That's true.
those three classes.
So I'm going to guess and say you saw the trailer.
Yeah, so
And what do you think?
it's a very interesting class, but I need to know what the class can do. Like just seeing how it attacks, it doesn't. It's not enough for me. So
Right.
like seeing that death soul, the soul that appears when you cast death, alongside the Reaper, makes me think that they have a move just called Death 5 or something of the sort, which they probably do. But seeing the class move just reminded me of a summoner mixed with the Dark Knight, mixed with the Necromancer. But I really am curious on what I know the class's main role is DPS, but DPS how? Like through
Physical.
is it a utility DPS?
It's a melee DPS.
So
That is what it's under.
okay, so no debuffs, no like
No. So melee DPS do have debuffs. In the main sense that Ninja would probably be the main debuff melee, because Monk powers itself up, Samurai powers itself up with. Does Samurai have a debuff? Lester, do you remember if
Samurai does. Wait. I don't think so.
Because I know
I don't think
Dragoon has
they
Faint,
have. Yes.
and that's a debuff.
I don't think Samurai had a debuff. Sock is in the audience. He would know better.
He said Sock does not, and
yeah.
oh, and Monk has Demolition.
Monk has Demolition. Yeah.
So I would think
Well,
that Reaper would have a bunch of debuffs in
there
contrast to
was a
like
little there's a little tweet from Mr. Larry Zor. If you guys remember Mr. Larry Zor, he
yeah.
says he wants to see Reaper with a resurrection skill to be our first melee DPS with a res skill. That'd be amazing. That'd be actually amazing.
A melee DPS with a resurrection
Yeah.
skill. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
That would be sweet. I back him up on that one.
That would be great.
I would just add to the whole necromancy thing I was saying. But yeah, I would like to see that.
Yeah, we were all in debate. Like, is it Reaper? Is it Necromancer? It's like you're all right, guys.
Yeah.
Just happens to be
Everybody
Reaper.
wins. Yeah.
But it looks very interesting. Definitely my kind of job. So I'm gonna have to master it, right? Like it's gonna have to be done.
Oh, so you're going to a DPS class now? That's surprising.
Listen, people already know me as like the Dark Knight Master. I might as well take the other edgy job. I might as well. It's on a Ara girl, and the Dark Knight is also on a Ara. So, and I'm an Ara in game, so I think I have that privilege to master Reaper as well. I'm
You
not,
talking about dark privilege now?
of course, I have that privilege.
Hmm.
I mean, every time.
And yet you haven't what do you call this, mastered the darkest of them all, the black mage.
Yeah, that's even though I haven't played in like a year. That's me.
Yeah, that would be our friend's Panic here, who
Uh,
I'm gonna have to talk with later. But he has IRL stuff. My other friend or our other host here, Skeptic, also plays the game, but he definitely has IRL stuff to go through. So there's no way he's playing the game. No way. I know he's listening right now. There's no way you're playing the game, bro. You're gonna be too busy.
his ears are burning right now.
I could probably ask Work 2 Games and see how they do it. Because remember, Brian is a dad of 2.
Yeah, that's true.
They're,
He-
they're,
Well, they take turns though. Like him
yeah,
and
but
Chris take turns.
he still has enough playtime in 14 where it's like he's already at end game. He's done everything. He's
Mm.
taking a look at Fan Festival. He's able to do all of that stuff while still being a dad. So
Then what do you call it? Then I really congratulate his wife on a really good job on raising their kids, because it's a lot of time.
it's very questionable. Like, how are you raising your kids if you're playing that?
Yeah,
How are
yeah.
you doing that?
I don't want to say anything, but like,
Mm.
that's
I
probably
mean,
not good.
okay, Anima, I know you're a dad too, but you are also busy and you have your own thing that you're doing. Let alone playing an MMO. Streaming is already hard
Yeah.
enough for you, so I already
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, it always comes back to that.
yeah.
It's like it's one of those things where the commitment is so high, and it's not even like my primary game that I want to play. Like I have not played for this past week at all. Resident Evil 8 dropped, and I'm just like, that's nice. I mean, hell yeah, I want to play it, but like, it's just that I'm on the cusp of like making a huge change. So like, I really want to focus up, and that's where a lot of my like turning down all of the games in the past has come from. At the end of the day, I know that I only am gonna have so much time if I want to raise a family. So I really have to focus on things that can give me back time. You know,
Good
So,
man.
See,
yeah,
this,
priorities.
Good.
yeah. See, this is the thing. But no, I have all the love for Skeptic, but I have my doubts. I'm sorry, man. I have my doubts. I mean, all the love. I'll help as much as I can, man. That's all I can really say. You have me to be your backup. The last thing we're going to talk about today, and I guess it would be perfect just to keep it in a short segment here, which I wanted to make for the whole entire podcast, but we got into Sonic way too deep. This is what happens when you go down that rabbit hole.
My bad.
Cancel culture.
I thought we were saving that.
I
Well,
wanted to actually talk about that today. Uncle Saint.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
else I wouldn't have had a topic.
I said it at the beginning. We can get maybe even more deep into it maybe next time, but I want to say that as of right now, there is a particular YouTuber who is in the Smash community who is looking over most of the cancel cultures. Kicks up feet. Sock's like, oh, here we go. Let me grab my beer. The reason why I want to talk about that, maybe it's for my own self gratification here, but I honestly think it's getting a little much.
Just a little,
It's getting a little much,
a tad.
just a tad,
Hmm.
because it's just a tad.
Fill me in. What's going on now with specifically this YouTuber you mentioned or whatever it
Uh,
is? I can't.
so to make this a smaller segment, there is a YouTuber by the name of Technicals who is investigating and looking into the cases of the Smash community and where everybody was canceled all left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And he took a second look at most of them, and
Mm.
he's finding like holes in people just being hypocrites with what they're saying, and
Mm.
actually finding like the truth of things rather than like going with a mob mentality and following the
Wait.
train.
Wait,
What you got,
is,
man?
I'm sorry. I'm not adding anything. I just need to make sure. Are you talking about the guy whose video I shared with y'all about a month ago?
Was
I,
what video
it
was it?
was a video of Sin, and the second video about
Captain Zach.
Captain Zach.
I
The guy.
think
Are
s-
you talking about
I
those
think
two
so.
videos?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So then you already know that uh he's already looking into like what's going on with the Sky House
Yeah.
and what is like yeah, he's looking into that and probably some other cases that we don't know. But this also has led to like plenty of like high tier, maybe even up there YouTubers getting all this flack when they may have something that they have to take charge of, but now you have canceled people really not knowing what to do with their lives, and sometimes the cancellation be it via like it's something bad, right? Like what if they were they accidentally talked to somebody who's young, right? And this was the case for Anti, who and Zero, but this is the case for Anti where he was apparently like talking to some young girl on Tinder, and she was like, I don't know, 16, right? However, Tinder is supposed to be for those who are 18 and older.
Right.
So he did
A
not.
contradiction.
Right. And you're not supposed to go on Tinder, obviously, but how can you control that if you're not 18?
And people incriminating somebody for that, like, well, how is he supposed to know? If he finds out and then he's just like, oh, well, that's different. But in the first place, he obviously was looking in a medium where it was supposed to be of legal age
Right.
only.
Like you're not going to card every single person that you come across on Tinder, are you? Where the whole dynamic of it is swipe left, swipe right. And if you get a match, you would assume they are also 18 years old or older.
Right.
So, I mean, I can't really fault a person for that if like the person is lying on the other side and they're just like, how old are you? And they're like, "Oh, I'm 18." And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And then they finally come out and say, "Oh, well, I'm actually 16. Is that a problem?"
But that's been
Yes.
happening since the dawn of time. I mean, sheesh. It's one of those things where you always have kids doing things they're not supposed to do and they're not of age. But what really kills me is the idea that people are putting someone down for just them talking to them in the first place, as if they were supposed to have known the whole time. And that's where the difference is now. Now it's like you have underage minors who can become predators because they have the upper hand.
Oh yeah. Panic that was also part of the video, right? You put out the Captain Zack story.
Yes.
I should probably ask you how you feel about that, since Captain Zack didn't just do this with Ally and Nairo, but he did it to 2 other people. So that's four older Smash players, pros,
Mhm.
who got entangled with Captain Zack while he was a minor, right? And Captain Zack got entangled with 4 of them, and basically, uh, they all 4 of them are now they're gone, except for Nairo. Nairo came back.
Came back, but Ally is gone. I don't know the other two. I don't think I know the other two. Maybe they were mentioned in that video, but I don't remember. Ally and Naira were the focus.
Right.
Yeah, Zach's
But
been a problem for ages now.
18
yeah,
Peppa Pig lunchbox. Holy shit.
um, I'm still trying to find out. Well, I could probably go to the site that the guy talks about in both the videos I linked in the Sky House one as well. But um, I'm curious what happened to like D1. Like he has allegations of um,
The
damn,
R
I don't.
he was the R word.
Oh, okay, so that's what it was. He has allegations of that, and I'm just like, when? Like,
His was his is a lot harder to even get through, because now that would be like the case study of like he say she said, and investigating the proof of things. That would be really hard to even look at. So I mean, I would want to know what's going on with D1. um but his is a lot more controversial, a lot harder to take a look at. Whereas, Anti and Nairo is pretty easy.
yeah,
Anti was accused of also soliciting alcohol to a minor, because she was like his +1 at a party. So
mhm,
he's taking fault for that, because he didn't know she was drinking alcohol, but he did bring her to the party.
right.
So it's still his fault for bringing her there. I would say a lot of fault also goes to MVD, who was also just like, he knew she was drinking alcohol, but he said he didn't give any to her, but he was still there knowingly knowing that she did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
MVD
Yeah,
is too.
yeah, MVD is like a close personal friend of the +1 to Anti, and later apparently started dating her. And he said that she's 18 years old. I would think, being an adult, she would know what to do. He has a lot of faith in them being an adult, but as proof would say for a lot of people, and apparently Florida, no, that's still soliciting alcohol to an underage person
Uh,
knowingly.
uh,
I highly doubt that 18-year-olds know anything like that they're doing.
Well,
Like they're not adults. Like they're legally adults, but mentally, especially these days, I don't feel like a lot of 18-year-olds come out like brimming with maturity. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, you're still in high school, going into college. People in college don't even know what the hell they're doing with their lives yet. People in their early to mid 20s and beyond. Like, I don't think you really start to figure it out till you start to reach your 30s. And that means you're going to do a lot of dumb stuff. That's just kind of what I expect. Now, incriminating evidence or not, like, I'm not holding any of these people accountable for making the right decisions because they're not necessarily someone I'd expect to, especially at those ages. You know what I mean? Like our culture doesn't make it
but
a
I have a
big
question.
deal.
Well, what's up, Panic?
Uh, you said you said that that people are trying to say that he should be held accountable for. Well, he should be, we'll say, tried for soliciting alcohol to a minor. Is that what you said?
Yeah, because he brought her there.
But wait, so you're telling me that if I was brought to a party that, no, let's say I'm 18. If I was brought to a party where the person bringing me knows that there's alcohol and just says to me, "There's alcohol. Don't drink." But I drink anyway. It's that person's fault for bringing me. What if I went there myself? Would it be my fault? What if I was told about it and just went there myself? Would it still be his fault? Like what?
No, it wouldn't be his fault, but the person hosting the party, that it would be their fault.
Oh, was anti hosting the party?
No.
Okay, so anti should not be held accountable for this. Now, the person hosting the party should also not be held accountable because unless they knew that the person was there, but if they didn't know the person was there, they should not be held accountable. Where does that line draw? Like, come on, like
Mm.
you're
So when it comes to Florida, the stature is that if they're in the environment with alcohol, um, and yeah, there were non-alcoholic beverages, but they always put the responsibility towards the person who is more or less putting the environment onto the people who are not supposed to be drinking the alcohol. So anybody under 21, um, if like the cops showed up, right, and
Mm,
they carded everybody, and there's like, oh, there's a 18-year-old there, 19-year-old there, 20-year-old there, right? Like it could be a college frat party, right? You know how college frat parties have like alcohol in their stuff, and these people
mm,
are like underage as fuck. um there's a reason why the schools will always, come in, crack down, and shut it down if they find out about the party, right? And in some
mm.
cases, it gets too big and they try to ignore it, as long as like there's no property damages. But if the frat party is ever caught at a college, they shut it down immediately, and the school has to take responsibility for any like underage drinking when it comes down to that. The school has to take responsibility.
So I just have a quick question. In Florida, do you guys know if there's a law stating that under like people under legal drinking age cannot partake in a party involving alcohol?
I think it's more specific than that. Florida drinking thing is like a, let me see, Florida.
Like, because basically, like, if there is a law like that, then yeah, I mean, she shouldn't have been brought there. But if there's no law like that, then this makes no sense. Like,
So
how can you
appar-
possibly?
And to add on to what Last Order said, this person, you said she's 18, right? You realize that at 18 you are tried as an adult.
Yeah,
Therefore, you are recognized as an adult. Granted, under the legal age of drinking in America, but you are recognized as an adult. That means it is you.
responsible for your own actions.
so
Yeah.
there are penalties for underage drinking. So if the person is found with a drink and they're under 21, they
Uh-huh.
can be that could be classified as a second degree misdemeanor and can put
Uh-huh.
you into jail for 60 days or 6 months and have up to a fine of $500.
Right,
Makes sense.
but that's to the offender, right? That's to the offender with the drink in their hand, right?
Right.
Is there a law stating that like underage drinkers cannot be in the presence of alcohol, like in parties, like such things, like such events
There
as parties and whatnot?
No, there is no law that says that they can't be around it.
Yeah.
Like
So
they just can't be caught holding it.
right, so then the responsibility goes on to that girl squarely. Like
Right.
it nobody else is responsible than that person take with the drink in their hands, knowing that they are legally underage and they are legally an adult. That is definitely
Mind
their responsibility and their responsibility
mind you,
alone,
I'm not
I would think.
detract. Yeah, mind you, I'm not
Mm,
detracting from what you're saying.
mm.
I'm pointing out why anti was canceled.
I know. I get why, but what me and Last Order are saying is that that's fucking retarded. Sorry.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's really dumb. Like that shouldn't have happened because like in the end that girl made that decision herself and she is legally an adult and she can make that decision to go against the law.
Right.
So that's not Anti's fault. That's not
So
Anti's fault for bringing her to a like it's not illegal to bring like an underage like like person to an event with alcohol. If it is, then yeah, it is his fault. But since it isn't, that you're telling me, then it's not his fault at all.
in that
Like it,
line, you would be correct. Now, adding on to the fact that he did bring a girl over to a party for this, and he, no, he didn't know that she was drinking. Obviously, in this case, that would be just like a small like, you idiot, and he'll probably be brushed off with that. He was accused of apparently kissing a girl without her consent,
Uh,
apparently,
okay, that's
Well, that's
and
different. Yeah.
that's weird. That's
and
what
yeah, and what was I said it before, but talking to like a girl, on Tinder, and didn't know that she was a minor in that case.
that one's a little bit of a gray area. But if he found out
Yeah.
within a certain time frame and still kept talking, then it's his fault. But if not, then it's not his fault. Gray area.
Gray
But the
area.
kissing, the borderline R word with the girl and the kissing, that's pretty bad. But
Yeah.
do you think he should
So
be?
the kissing, apparently, from his story, his side of the story is that they were in an elevator. They were both like getting hot, and they kissed right there in the elevator. Now, after which, Anti asked if she was okay. Saying if she's fine. With what just happened, she said she was okay. It was fine. And they talked like normal for like 4 years. Like, well, after that, because he didn't see like any development with that. He blocked her on Twitter for a little bit because he didn't want to like call. I guess you could say he's trying to not cause any problems with that. But for like the next 4 years, by the way, she's legal, so get that out the way. Um, After 4 years, she comes out with like a twit longer saying like, I felt uncomfortable with that kiss and I cried in my room because of it. Which for me, think that that's a little suspicious. Like, how do you kiss Anti in an elevator, say that you're cool with what just happened, and then claim that you went to your room in the hotel crying yourself to sleep because of what just happened?
And this was 4 years after the fact, right?
Right. So she comes out with a twit longer saying that she made her feel uncomfortable in that situation, forced the kiss on her. When in his story, it's like they both consensually kissed. Is that what he said? Because when you say consensually kissed, he did say he might have gotten off a little strong, but it's not. If you really don't want to kiss somebody, would you not push somebody away or saying please don't or something like
Right.
that? Because
Right.
and Anti's personality was that he may have come off a little strong, but he isn't the type of person to just like force a kiss to a point to like be considered like oral rape or something like that. And that was the thing. She was making it out to be so much more than what it was, saying that after the kiss she cried herself to sleep? Question mark.
So the real question is, does she have motive for trying to incriminate this guy for
Yeah,
something
that's
that
that.
she clearly wasn't really bothered by until it was convenient? See,
Yeah.
that's where I look at the thing. I'm just like, all right, so we already know that there were some false allegations against numerous players. Some who were able to shut them down right away, some who just weren't. And the question is then back to cancel culture itself. What is the purpose of why people are bringing this up? So you have one person who has now just said one, only one really possible allegation because no one else was there,
Mm.
where you have to consider, okay, are they really bothered by this? Like usually the internet's reaction is to side with that person. But like the question is, okay, when he blocked her, for all we know, she had feelings the whole time. You know what I mean? Maybe after a while, she really wanted to be with him. He didn't want to be with her. And then when he decided he didn't want anything else to do with her, now she's going to play that card. You know what
And
I
that's
mean?
usually how it happens. And the
That's,
problem,
yeah.
I'm sorry, the problem with that is that damn, that means you're not allowed to have a life, and it's not even like you're living a bad life. You just living life. Like
Yeah.
you people, the person who wants to get them canceled, it's understandable why they want to hold that power. They feel powerful because they have the ability to stop this person from doing whatever it is that they're trying to do. But like the rest of the world needs to look at this like, yo, this man can't live his life. he didn't do nothing wrong technically. If you actually look at the facts, like, do the research instead of just going, "Oh, he did something wrong. Get him out of here!" Like the
Ye-
the hell?
Like,
What's
that's the power we've given the general, like what is it you want to call it? The fog of ignorance that we have online when people just decide to drown out the facts with just sheer, you know,
Yeah.
just sheer commentary, like sheer criticism. That has more power than the facts right now.
Yep.
what's crazy is that these people don't understand what happens after a person gets canceled. They think that they could just disappear from the internet and just live their private life, but that's not how it works. When someone gets canceled, it not only has like a physical like it has a physical effect on their everyday life and a mental effect because in some cases they get PTSD, like they can't go back on the internet no more. But also in like real life, it's harder to get a job if you had a big name on the internet and if you're canceled on the internet, someone who's investigating your past and make sure you're not like say you're a criminal, right? And you get out of jail. It's hard. It's hard unless you've actually done something in that time you were in prison. It's really hard to actually get like a well-paying job, if not a job at all. And when
Yeah,
when somebody gets canceled, it's it's like emulating that because if I'm going to speak about like just Zero's case when he got canceled, he never finished high school, so he didn't go to college, and he really built up really hard what he made on the internet.
Yeah, and
And
if
because
you look
go ahead.
at the videos, if you look at that video, you understand why he never actually finished high school. Like his background, he came from a hard ass background. Like he had a hard life when he was younger.
Right.
That worked really hard to get out of that. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right. No, yeah, that adds on to it because like he's not also just supporting himself with his online business and his online career. He was supporting his mother. He can't do that no more. He can't just go online. Well, he could if he really wants to. Like if he had the courage, but he has like a mental disorder. Like things messed up for him. He got PTSD. He if it wasn't for his ex-fiance, he probably wouldn't even be here right now because he tried to take his life twice. Well, he almost took his life the first time. Second time, he really did try to take his life. And cancel culture strikes again when a very prominent commentator in the Smash scene, did an
Yeah.
interview on Zero.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he did an interview on Zero to see how he was to check on his mental well being. And everybody appreciated that. Well, most people appreciated that because there are still fans of Zero out there who's like waiting for his return, and then there are people who just like who heard about his attempted, his life taking, and they wanted to know how he was after that. Like he's recovering in a hospital. Okay, he's back. What's he doing? So had an exclusive interview with Zero to just see how he is. Zero's basically saying he's not coming back to the internet because it's too much trauma after what happened. He basically like gave up, and E understood. He just wanted to make sure that he was okay. And Jizu, one of the prominent instigators of the cancellation of like she was part of the Sky House cancellation and everything like that, but she was one of the instigators.
Mhm.
Came in and said, "EE, take down that video. How dare you? This is a slap in the face to all the victims." I'm like, what victim, Jizu? Katie, the very person who said in her document saying she didn't want Zero to be canceled, but I don't know all too much about that, but all she wanted was an apology. And then Jizu, uh, her situation is a nothing burger. All Zero did to her was like prank her and showed porn to her.
Yeah, I was about to say she just happened to be around him when he was like being a boy.
Right. And as
Yeah.
stupid as it is, that's like nothing. That really is nothing. And Jizu made a big deal of that and saying that Zero's case is like it's a slap in the face to all of his victims. Who are all of his victims, Jizu?
Yeah, like there wasn't even a list. The thing is, I feel like it's that voice right there that gives it all away, though. You can see right through it. Like, this is a slap in the face. Like, to who? Somebody just wanted to make sure this meant. All right, so what if he did take his own life?
What would you be
You know what I
saying,
mean?
Jizu?
Like, Jizu would be the prime suspect. And the thing about it is, that is a real crime. See, the thing is, to tell somebody or to solicit for someone to do that to themselves is a problem. The idea that somebody's just checking up on someone's mental health means that you seriously are undermining the value of making sure someone is okay. You are so caught up in whatever narrative you've built for yourself against this person that you fail to realize that he's still a person who, at the very least, deserves to live, let alone redemption.
Right. Which is
You
the
really shouldn't put yourself out there as somebody who is an enemy to their recovery. You've already gotten what you wanted out of the situation, and now you can't even let the man breathe to come back and have an interview to let everybody know he's okay. Like, that really just exposes the whole point of why this is happening and why it's so suspect.
So I just wanted to like chime in here. Like, it's become cancel culture. The people like I get it. Some people are in it because like they want higher standards, right? But there's a lot of people who just it's revenge culture for a lot of people. Like
Mhm.
they're doing it out of spite. They're doing it for revenge. It's not good. It's never good. And like with her case, with Jesus' case, it's like she obviously doesn't care for what he's going through. It's more like, oh, he did this to me. I'm gonna get him back no matter what. That's what it. That's what it is. That's what
Yeah.
it's become. It's cancel culture mixed in with outrage culture, which is like
Mhm.
the worst thing ever. So just these kind of situations, it's just people, please stop doing this. Stop
so.
doing this, man.
Where
Like,
I
do
know that there's a lot of people who basically love adding to the chaos and the fuel of fire, but like there are a lot of people who genuinely don't know any better and just kind of like hop onto the train. It's
yeah, they
really
just go
worth
for it.
it to not add your commentary. Like, you really shouldn't add your 2 cents if you don't know what's going on. I think
Mhm.
that's really the biggest offender, is just how many people are like, I believed in you. And they're just like, they have no idea what's going on. They're just
Yeah.
shocked.
they're like
They
I'm
just see the surface of it and they're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, the worst one was like they go after a high maybe a highly caliber like person like a corpse husband if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
I said this in my video. He was retelling of a story of an incident where a lesbian woman was getting a lot of flack from a nun because the nun called her the D word. And I don't know if that's
Mhm.
Yikes.
like I'm not too sure if that words
Don't go
well.
too far into that. Just don't even ask.
Right.
Don't
But
just go.
Corpse Husband was retelling the story, literally reading it off of a script or reading it off of like a page where she shared her experience with Corpse. And Corpse
Mhm.
asked if it was okay to share that experience to everybody. She said yes. He said the
Mm.
word within the context of the story, and people want to cancel him for it.
Yeah, so he
Mm.
said with like they're taking him out of context, basically.
Right.
Hmm.
And somebody was just like, Corpse, I thought you knew better than this. Do better. And that pisses me off when somebody they end their sentence with do better. And I'm like, bitch, you don't even know. like
That reminds me of
like shut the fuck
Falcon at
up. You
the
don't
end of
even know.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You gotta do better. Like, how, bro? You gotta yeah, elaborate. No, honestly, it's just, again, I think somebody in chat already said it, clout chasing. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
Like, at that point, you're taking this moral high ground as if the same there was it's all right. So you brought this one up to me, right? You showed the video of somebody who was just like talking about, if somebody asked you to step on a rabbit for $1 million.
that wasn't me. Wasn't that you? Who said
No, I didn't bring that up. Are you kidding me?
I thought that
You
no, that wasn't
you
me.
brought that up to my, like, we were with my dad. We are about to go see a movie. I think we are gonna go see Endgame. And like, you brought up this guy who, like, I'm pretty sure that was you. And it was just like, the guy was basically saying, yeah, you would totally step on whatever the heck you needed to get the million
Oh
dollars.
yeah, okay, yeah, now I remember, yeah. Yeah.
Most people, however, because they know it's a hypothetical, it's all in theory. It doesn't really, it's not a real opportunity, can take the moral high ground and act like they wouldn't, because that's real.
Well, who was it? Was it your
I don't
dad
know.
that said, "Hell yeah, I would step on that rabbit"?
But I mean,
I don't know.
look, let's be honest. You don't know until it actually happens, right? I heard a
Right.
story recently about a police dispatcher where Wells Fargo had accidentally put millions of dollars into her bank account. It was an error on their part, but she took the money and ran. I mean, like she really went and spent as much of it as she possibly could in such a short amount of time, including buying a house. And somebody brought that up to me, and I was just like, you know something. While she definitely shouldn't have done that as a working police dispatcher, technically, the defense attorney on that would be getting paid because she didn't necessarily have legal right to the funds per se, but the incident, the error is on Wells. Now they're gonna have to pursue legal action, but technically she wasn't wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's off topic.
She
Well,
didn't steal nothing. They gave it to her.
Yes, exactly.
okay.
You see what I
Okay.
mean? Like those kind of loopholes are what bring these things alive. And I think that people really will condemn somebody for the principle, but that isn't always the law.
It's
Especially when it's a blatant call out, when it's like, oh, you said this word, but it was within context of the story.
that, but that's like that's one of part of cancel culture where I just don't understand, and I've tried to understand it, but like, say, like for instance, um, say for instance, you said, I don't know, you know what? We're gonna go back to the D word, right? Corpse Husband said the D word in context of telling a story. If I was
Mhm.
reading Huckleberry Finn, right, and the N word, the hard
Oh
R N
yeah.
word, which is in the book quite a few times,
Mhm.
came up, and I was reading it through the context of the book, and what if I you know what if I was doing that on Audible because I was paid to do it?
Mm.
Does that make me the racist? Does that make me a racist because I
What
said the word?
what's even wilder about that context is that we have people who are content creators by the millions of subs, like Long Beach Griffey. I'm bringing him up again if I haven't before, because he actively says the N word in all his videos constantly,
Right.
and he still gets sponsors. The thing is, like, it's this again, it's perception, right? And that's what we were talking about just before we started this. Was this idea that um, it's like if you have enough clout, you can get away with things. That's why people chase clout in the first place. See, this idea that he isn't going to get canceled for it because he does it all the time. Does that make it any better than if somebody else does it when they don't say it ever? Right?
Right.
Then it gets really murky. It's like, well, this guy over here is doing it all day long.
But then, what adds on to that is, I mean, Long Bitch Griffey is black.
Did you just.
And I said
Uh
beach.
oh.
There's two errors
Out of
there.
context.
I said
Out of
beach.
context.
There are three errors here. Let's just rewind for a second. First of
Don't
all,
get this canceled. Sing. Don't get this canceled.
Long Beach, Griffey,
I
okay?
swear I said that.
Second of all, don't even go there. Don't even go there. Don't even do that to yourself.
The thoughts of one of our hosts do not reflect the thoughts of the rest of us.
Thank you.
I
Thank you, last
apologize.
order.
I apologize if I said a word that you guys
Let's
possibly thought you heard.
let's talk
You
about
can,
it though.
you
Let's
can
talk
do
about it
better,
though.
Saint. You can do better.
Wait, there's no like I'm gonna reframe what you just were about to say. Samuel Jackson was asked by an interviewer who was a Caucasian, okay, like why it is that that's the case that you were about to mention. He was just like, we can't say that. He's referring to, you know,
Right.
Caucasians. So let's call it what it is. And then Sam was just like, yeah, you can. Go ahead and say it. See, the thing is, he
I love
didn't
that
because
man.
he knew, right? And that's the key. It's not so much whether or not you can or can't. It's what happens when everybody gets a hold of that. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, there's two sides to it. All right, you can't cancel Eminem. Why? He's been coming out from the door saying offensive stuff. He built himself up on it.
Right.
is anyone going to be able to tell him all of a sudden he's wrong for all of that?
You know, and you make a point. I would say, if I would also say, you said this before. It's also like the what was the word you said? Not the
Perception?
it is, yeah. I think that's the word. The reception and
The
like
perception.
the perception. There
Perception.
you go.
Yeah.
The perception of it all. Like if, and I hate saying this, like if a black person was saying it in a context of just like how offensive it is, and they said the word, people will not be offended by that because they're saying it like, okay, he's obviously offended by that, and he's black. And as much as people would have faith in saying like that shouldn't matter, it's actually very true. Like if a white person said it in any kind of context, they get flagged for that immediately.
Mhm.
Immediately. But Griffey, he says it in like, one or two, maybe a few of his videos every other time.
No, every video.
I don't think he says it every single one.
Not
Let's
really,
be honest.
but like nearly every video where it's just
it's
some
a
random
lot
person.
of the videos. He says it in a lot of the videos. But
The context is basically this.
yeah,
It's a double standard.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, is it something someone should say or not?
Listen, I take the Boondocks approach on this. The easy A means ignorant mofo. That is all that means. And the hard R is the one that we take offense to.
Mm-hmm.
So that the reason we I'm not going to go that route. Not going to go that route. But
You shouldn't.
nowadays, when we use the easy A word, it is not in an offensive way. It's just to call somebody out, and usually it's to say mofo.
but
Another way to say, man, look,
but
like
even the A word, right? Even the A word. If it wasn't for
Mhm.
the fact that Eminem has built his career and is basically, I think he was stolen by black people at this point. I think he's just been stolen by the community.
Mm.
He just
yeah.
gets
I'm
away with
not.
saying it.
I'm one more time. Last order.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
whatever,
One more time.
whatever Sync says is his own responsibility.
It is not a reflection of.
If you're going to
the entirety
cancel
of
anybody, you're going to cancel the Sync Weaver. That's all you're canceling today.
Do not cancel Sync Weaver, or else I
Look,
will
No,
rise.
you're just canceling me today. I'm sure we can find a replacement on the podcast.
the idea though is that if Eminem said it wouldn't be out of place, right? It's
Right.
perception.
Right.
It's totally up to people's perception and what someone decides is wrong or not. And that is what people are chasing. It's this idea that because they think something is wrong and can get enough people to agree, that they then have power. I don't know what the term is called. I don't really know if there's a word for it yet. Um, but like it's definitely something we should define going forward for cancel culture because it really the people who are doing the best to build themselves up as something better are the ones the most susceptible to it.
Mhm.
The people who are just doing bad all the time can't. They're like it's almost as if they're immune. And it's a little backwards when you say it's like, all right, so we're not incriminating anybody else for any of this stuff. Like the really serious stuff, that's one thing. But when it comes to like language, when it comes to intent, when it comes to things like that, and someone's like, you should know better. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, are you guys are here worrying about this guy
Yeah.
saying this thing in this context when there's these people over here
Yeah.
all over the place, really. There's people everywhere and they're fine. It's
Yeah,
a
but that's always
humongous
been
contradiction.
that's always been the case for that's why I say cancel culture is actually just outrage culture to the next level.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
always been the case with outrage culture. Like they'll see fault in those who like, oh, I can't believe you did this. I thought better of you. That's outrage culture in a nutshell, right?
Oh,
That's
no,
always what it
there-
is. Like they feel sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was answering Loomis Bacon's question.
Okay.
Mob mentality. They're harnessing the power of mob mentality, and
Yeah,
and
that's true.
and they did the like, forgive him or not. ESAM was also being investigated by technicals, and unless
Mm.
I'm just gonna say this, I know I'm saying a lot about technicals, and I know some people will, if they go and see technicals, they probably will be offended by how he says things. But I would suggest people to at least follow technicals, at least on his Twitter, if you don't want to hear him like say a bunch of words. um, he investigates the Smash community, and ESAM, in his past, whew, I can't repeat his words. Uh, but he said some words in the past, and when he was called out for it, um, he didn't get canceled or anything like that. A lot of people just like, okay, you're doing better. Okay, yeah, I see you're actually putting hard work. In that case, I'm like, okay, so cancel culture didn't hit him. Confusing.
See, wait, I think I know why. Because ESAM and Gimmer are like the pioneers of not the tournaments, but the specific tournament that they host.
Hmm.
The Xanadu. They're the pioneers of Xanadu. So like you cancel them, you kind of attacking the whole tournament community right now. Like I think that might be the reason why. Like it's and am I saying that's fair? No. Should it be happening at all at the same time? No. But like I think that might be the reason why ESAM is they're looking at him like, all right, well, we see you getting better, so we're not gonna touch you. Right now you holding you kind of head of the fort. You're the main reason that we even have a cancel culture for Smash right now. So like
When even the cancel culture has to respect ESAM because it wouldn't have even
He,
been a big enough deal if it wasn't for him.
yeah. See, ESAM, and I have to agree with this. He would also be considered a hypocrite in that case, because he's not giving the same kind of respect to people who are also being accused and may not, like, they're being mistakenly accused, but he just,
Scorched earth policy.
like, he goes full in. Like, you remember when somebody accused like Mewtwo King of doing something bad, and
He was all over it.
yeah, Esam was all over it. He was just like, I can't believe Mewtwo King did this. Mewtwo King, I'm appalled. I'm disappointed in you. And meanwhile, Mewtwo King had to come out and share his biggest secret as to why that's not true,
Right.
in a most like saddening, like depressing video ever. And I was
Well,
like, damn.
hear me out. Scorched earth policy is typically the first thing that you're gonna do. You can't. Again, it's like, would you take the $1 million for stepping on a rabbit? Trust me, when you're a big name and you're directly associated with one of the people or many of the people being thrown out under the bus, yeah, you probably are going to do that. The reason is because you don't know the facts. And the first thing you have to establish is that you don't condone. And I get that. The idea is that in a situation like that, where your livelihood depends on it, you're going to do whatever it takes. I don't think Esam did anything wrong per se. I don't think because everyone did that. Zero himself did it before he himself was accused. Like, you have to remember that at the end of the day, if you have a social media presence, your first job is to ensure that that does not get compromised.
Okay.
When you're directly under fire, it becomes different. And I get that after a while, Ezan should probably have just been like, you know what, I was wrong. But he doesn't have any real reason to, because at the end of the day, he didn't necessarily do any of the accusing himself. I get that he has been a hypocrite, but at the end of the day, all of this stuff is based around this idea that we all of a sudden started to hyper focus on all of these different people, half of which weren't really accused of anything that made any sense, really. Like all of it really was just a humongous, like it was a massive front. Um
But what
and
am I also understanding that even
mhm,
though like you understand why he did it, am I understanding that he really didn't have to do it though, because he basically just made the flames even bigger.
course, again, scorched earth policy. I think
uh,
the idea that it didn't help is one thing, but at the end of the day, if all the Smash players kept silent, the whole entire community would be suspect of
Right.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like he did his part, and at the end of the day, that sacrifice is one he has to make for the community,
Yeah.
at the very least.
To add on to that, to say the same thing in a different prospect. Like you said, he's like going hard. Him being a hypocrite, like going hard on these people. Like I just said earlier, him and Gimmer are like the main top two for like Xanadu itself. Not the rankings, but like Xanadu as a whole. Like if he doesn't, like, granted, I don't know how hard he went. He might not have had to go too hard on these people, but like if he doesn't say something and he lets that ride, then cancel culture is like, oh, Xanadu supports these guys. Let's get them out of here.
Oh
And
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think him saying that, like saying what he did, is part of the reason why cancel culture didn't go after him with whatever allegations that he has. It's the whole thing of like, um, I look, I appreciate you guys, but to save this, I kind of need to do this.
Yeah.
And do I do I think it's right? That's a gray area. Again, should this be happening? No, because cancel culture shouldn't be a fucking thing. But like he's kind of just trying to save himself and Xanadu as a whole. So like,
Right.
what can he really do?
I
Yeah.
mean, you know what?
That was a kill or be killed situation.
You're absolutely right. You know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. He had a
Right.
lot of stuff riding on this. Obviously, he has stuff that he does not want to sacrifice.
All right,
Where
including Team Panda Global, bro. Because
right,
remember, he
he
was part of it, and so was Zero.
he was forced
Yeah,
into a situation where he had to respond in a way. So I understand that. The only thing I would say, and I guess this is because in his situation he does like not really care. Technicals is like the only person really who's in the Smash community calling all of these people out, investigating all of these things because he
Hmm.
really has nothing to lose in this.
and I
Yeah.
respect him too. I actually really do respect him for it because he's doing the research. Like
R-
he's doing all the research.
right.
Yeah. And
However, I
yeah.
want to put a rebuttal in all this. Hungry Box, right? When it came to Mewtwo King, Hungry Box said, "Let's just wait and see what happens." And
He did
he's
that the whole time too. I
right.
respect the man for that.
Yeah, he did. He's also a face of the Melee community, if not all of Smash. And his response to all of this was, "Let's wait and see what happens." Now, people were mad about that as well because it's like, "Why aren't you saying anything?" And he's like, "Because I don't know everything, and I'm
All
not going to
right.
jump on the train. So let's
And
just
that's
wait."
facts. He was an advocate of truth in this situation. And that's why literally when he heard there was about to be allegations placed against him, his sheer honesty just shut the whole thing down. He was like, I'm actually curious as to what they have. Like I want to hear what they're gonna say. Because he did have something that people had brought up before, but like it was already cleared. And they were basically about to dredge that back up. Which was again nothing. The idea was that how he handled it prevented him from even being vulnerable, right?
Right.
See, it's that approach that you want to see, but not necessarily one that everyone can afford because he already had dirt out in the open. You know what I mean?
Right. He had dirt, and he's already like a controversial symbol, if that's what you want to say about Hungry Box. Honestly, I love the
Period.
guy.
He's already got haters. And the
Yeah.
thing is, though, everyone does in this
So
situation. So you always wonder if that one person just happens to be one of those people. You know?
now,
It's like internet trolling got to an extent where the law itself tried to crack down on it. This could just be a whole new resurgence of internet trolling. Like, you have no idea what these
now,
nobodies are out
yeah.
for.
Now, I will say that I may be like, I may have my own thoughts about like how he is him, but I completely understand you guys' point, so I will agree to that. Like he pretty much had like no choice. Um, I would say a major instigator who really didn't need to put his voice out there, but start the flames worse than Esam was probably Leffen.
Oh yeah, the Leffen arc.
Like
That's a story for a whole other day.
Leffen's situation is also a nothing burger. I will say that right now. I know he has his situation. He may have gotten something from it, but uh, I would say that he stoked the flames just as well. But unlike Hungrybox, who said, "Let's just hear all the facts," Leffen was just riding that train.
Because Leffen's a hater.
I mean,
Leffen
compared
isn't
to his
even good enough to even be a villain.
Character aside, Leffen, he added documents to this. This is why I'm saying that in his situation, he was stoking the flames a lot harder than Esam, who was just going to like random forum posts giving his opinion.
Leffen was part of the cancel culture itself. That
Right.
boy really, he wasn't scorched earth. That boy was actually actively engaging in trying to cancel people.
Right.
And I didn't really like take anything he said with any real salt, because like he already is somebody who doesn't like, he doesn't warrant respect in my opinion. Like, not necessarily in his gameplay, but in his attitude and in how he operates. People like him, like, already people have a hard time taking serious because he's a rager. He's this guy who talks big and then doesn't even back it up. So then you really have to wonder, like, what is he out for? Of course he could be a clout chaser. He becomes a suspect of, all right, is this guy out here actually trying to fight facts, you know, or fight fiction with facts, or is this guy just out here trying to boost himself right now?
Yeah. And
You know what I mean? Like, you can't take that guy seriously.
so
Like, he can't compare him to Esam at all. Actually,
he's. I would say like comparatively, Leffen is worse. So,
much worse.
right,
The Leffen arc was interesting to say the least, because he definitely avoided all kinds of, but he became part of the mob
right,
entirely.
and
That'd be like saying, and this is the end, like, what's his name? Oh gosh, I can't even remember. But the guy who basically became part of the chaos, who was in the house originally, I can't remember his name to save my life. But I can just say, not Seth Rogen, not James Franco. This is the slightly chubby guy who has like the curly hair. He's just kind of like
MVD,
has like, huh?
MVD.
What's
Are you talking
what's that?
about?
Is that who he's talking about? Is it MVD or is it somebody else?
No, I think he's talking about an actor.
Yeah, it's an actor.
Oh.
They were all playing themselves in that movie.
Zach
Um,
Zach
yes.
Gillett.
Yeah, how do you say his last
Him.
name? I can never remember it because it's hard to say. Like, he left, but the only reason he survives is because he became part of the like rapture. It was like he basically embraced the whole entire chaos of the situation and became part of it. Like, that's how I liken Leffen to the situation. Leffen like straight up turned his back on the community or the other top heads and became part of the like bloodthirsty cannibals. You know what I mean? Because that dude ended up eating people in that movie. Again, all fiction. It was all dumb. It was a funny movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like, it was in my brain. That's what Leffen did. That boy became a cannibal and started trying to eat other. Like, he really did.
So
I don't know. You can't take him serious.
so
Leffen isn't a person
well,
that we need to talk about.
all in all, cancel culture in itself is just like it's not really cancel culture at this point. It's like what Last Door said. It's more or less outrage culture. You have people checking in on the people who are canceled, who apparently is too afraid to go against the people like Jizu, who's saying, "You know better, Yi. You shouldn't have interviewed Zero." And it's like, I get this feeling that Jizu just wants Zero to die or something like that. And I'm not saying that's what she wants or how that's what she's aiming for. I'm just saying, like, due to her actions.
You don't feel as though she has his best well-being at her interest.
Right. And cancel culture seems to be just that.
I was about to say, use your words.
It's just that.
I get it. You know what? We can talk about it another time, more.
To
But I feel like the general idea is that if you really don't want to like add to the whole entire situation, try to like wait for the facts, wait for things to settle themselves out. Because at the end of the day, it really isn't any of our business at all. Like, it's not.
it's not
You know, like, Nairo settled his situation in court
in the
with
background.
Zach.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes as appropriate. And it worked out in his favor because Zach, for better or for worse, in my opinion, is actual scum. He didn't necessarily do things without motive, without some sort of weird end game to his actions. It wasn't just some innocent kid, you see.
He's
No.
So,
He was
What?
15 years old and he did all that.
And I don't expect them to even have the maturity to think straight. Like most of these kids out here are bullies. We talk about it all the time. Like kids are mean, bro. They do bad things all the time. Like they're not necessarily bad kids every single time, but some actually are. You have troubled youth. You know what I mean? And am I excusing Zach for his actions? No, but am I willing to believe that he might have had a screw not tied in tightly enough to like make the right moral judgment in his actions? Absolutely. Like he absolutely can be suspect of just not doing the right thing and knowing he wasn't doing the right thing. But then having something wrong where he isn't going to do the right thing. Some people really need help. So like it's important that that stuff settles itself out of the public view because it's deeper than anybody really needs to get into at the end of the day. So do please not believe the first thing you hear. That was what I was telling everybody
Yeah,
when it all first happened, and people were kind of giving me a hard time, and I'm just like, you have no idea what's really going on, though. You can't just read a twit longer, and I read the twit longers, and just decide that that's the whole story, regardless of how many come out or are read. Like you never really know what's going on, and that stuff isn't any of your business to pass judgment on.
What's crazy?
You should do your best to prevent yourself from becoming part of the mob.
What you gotta say, Panic?
Oh, just to add on to that, like I think the whole point of us bringing this up, everyone listening, whether you're listening on stream, listening to an afterplay, an audio somewhere, like if you are looking at stuff that could be allocated to cancel culture, like at least do the research, like at least figure out, at least from what has been made public, what's really going on. But just like the AI Ninema, haven't said your name in a while, said,
Legally.
like, um, don't believe the first thing you said. Don't believe the first thing that is put out there. Don't, because people sometimes are just trying to protect themselves. Like they'll say anything they can to keep the public eye off of them, and that's not necessarily. It's not always the truth. Don't always believe the first thing that's put out there. I mean, if you really want to take Hungry Box's approach, let's wait and see how this plays out. By itself, like, don't contribute to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go. If something needs to be pointed out, then let the authorities, like right now, the Smash community authorities being the tournament holders, handle it, and then let the real authorities handle it from there. It's none of our
Yeah,
business. We
it
aren't
really.
have the right to say, oh, that man needs to go to jail because just because we saw a post that implicates them. I said that right. In
Yeah.
something that they may or may not have been a part of.
Is
That's
anybody could do that.
yeah. That's not what we're here for, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. Okay. So we have finally made it to the end here. For those of you, as a disclaimer, um, particularly for myself,
He knows he got himself in hot water.
maybe. Just know that in terms of the context of what we were talking about, we're talking about the subject of cancel culture, but never in terms of like this pointing to someone or to a group of people, but set as an example and as a subject of what can be talked about. There is nobody here that we talked about today that we abhorrently want to go after or anything like that. We're not supporting it, nor are we trying to instigate anything. So, even though we've said names, don't go after them. This has nothing to do with it.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I know we talked about
Yeah.
Leffen, but, let Leffen be.
Spend your day getting away from the internet and reuniting with your own mind.
He really needs to stop swallowing supercomputers.
Stop being Daft Punk. You're gonna get sued.
Work it. Make it. Do it. Make us harder, better, faster, stronger.
that honestly is weirdly
But
good.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, you don't need a program. You just need a horrible connection to Discord. That's how you can do it.
But what I think he was trying to say is get off the internet.
Yeah.
Stay out of people's businesses. It's like
Get some fresh air. Go out.
There you go.
I'm gonna I'm gonna take that soundbite and use it as my new follower.
Oh my god, please, guys. Send me a copy, please. I might do the same.
But thank you very much, guys, for being on the show today. Again, and thank you for that last topic there. Appreciate the insight, and everybody in chat. Thank you as well. You guys are wonderful, wonderful people. This is at the end of the show. We're at the end of the show, guys, and I want to say
We have to
that
do the thing.
yeah, where can we find you? Last order.
Oh, I don't know. I'm usually under a bridge now.
Really?
Trolling.
You're a
That's
tro-
what I usually do. Yeah.
You're a troll now. I didn't know.
What do you mean? You didn't know I was a troll?
I always
Oh
had
my
an
God.
inkling. I had an
Okay.
inkling.
Okay, good. That's who I really am. That cancel me. Yeah, I'm on Twitch. I'm mainly streaming on Twitch because I can't stream on YouTube parallel now because of the affiliate clause thing. But yeah, I'm on Twitch.
Yeah, aren't you glad I told you?
I know. I was like, oh my god, I didn't even see this part. The part of the clause. I was like, oh no. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was frightening.
I had to give that up pretty quick too because I had to fill it in like a month, and I was like, "Oh crap! They're supposed to be exclusive." Yikes!
Yeah, I didn't know that we were supposed to say, "Oh crap!"
I figured you knew and just like took the risk because that's what Syncing I
No.
feel like was doing.
I didn't
I don't know.
I didn't know it. I was like, "Oh my god, I should have read that closer." But yeah,
Yeah,
so
the fine lines.
yeah, the fine lines, stupid fine lines. But yeah, I'm on Twitch streaming. I'm actually gonna be streaming a little bit later. Like
Hey.
I was planning to do a Genshin Impact stream because I like gambling.
He likes
I
making no.
doubled down.
He likes making wishes. We don't support
Oh,
gambling
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Yes.
If you're going to an impact, why don't you get me and Sync on there with you? We can run a few dungeons and stuff.
here. Fuck you,
On
Panic.
Genshin?
Fuck you. Fuck you, Panic.
I've been trying for the
Fuck
longest
you.
time.
Fuck you. Trying.
Thank
You
you.
know I'm
Thank
trying to
you.
get away from this, and you're just
Thank
like
you.
you're like no.
Don't have to
No.
know.
Someone when Sync streams next, follow him, and then you will see how much he loves Genshin Impact.
No, don't do that.
Outringer Amber reporting for duty.
Oh,
That was a custom made one that I. At the time, I was like, "Oh man, Genshin Impact is great."
that's what I thought I was on. They pull me back in.
So you ain't got to make wishes. All you got to do is fight with your two characters. That's it. Come on.
Exactly.
Every time I try to leave and walk out the door, it just closed in front of me, and I'm like, "What happened?"
Really happy.
See,
I
like,
Yeah.
you see, like, Panic and you see Panic and Andy they're just like shaking their head, like, "No, no, no, you're not
can't.
leaving this one."
That is a game you can sink your teeth into.
Oh, okay.
Jokes. Let's go.
Doc appreciates that, but I don't.
Thank you, Last Order, for joining us.
Anima, do better. Anima,
Do better.
Speaking of doing better, you can find me on Twitch. But since I be roboticizing, my stream be dying. So give me a little bit more time to figure that out, and then my next stream will be when that happens. The Aeon Animo on Twitch TV.
You can also find Panic on Opera Omnia. What's your name on there so you can have much more friends and a lot more things to spend on that?
That's a good question. I'm on it right now. My name is not Wetman. It's my friend code. 1 second. I'll read it out for you.
Just put it in chat.
No, I'm gonna read it out. People who catch it, catch it.
Oh gosh.
We ready? We ready? Wait, okay. The ID is, are you ready? 224860087. Got it? Got it.
2, 4, 8, 6, blah, blah, blah. Too fast.
Oh my God. You guys are fucking too much, I swear. One day I'll leave the gacha scene. And I will be clean. I'll be sitting.
No.
We
I'll be-
summoned you with 160 primo gems. You're staying here for.
I will sit at the corner, right, with a Bible in hand, saying like, I've gone past this, my friends. I've moved on.
We summoned you. We thought we would get a 5-star, but we got a 3-star like you instead. So you're staying here.
Dang. uh, well, last and not least, you can catch me on the Syncweaver channel, seeing how yeah, I have to follow the TOS as well on Twitch and on YouTube, where that's more Final Fantasy centric. I've got my spark back thanks to if there's one last thing I can say, Soken, the composer for Final Fantasy XIV's music, came out at the end of the festival to tell people like what has been going on since COVID. Apparently he has cancer.
Oh my god.
And he's been fighting cancer and working at the same time.
No way. I didn't.
Props.
Right.
Wow.
Props.
And he came to the Fan Fest because his cancer subsided.
Oh, that's
And-
good.
And, you know, still that doesn't mean it's gone.
Right.
It just means that the I guess you could say the symptoms are smaller, or they're going away, or they're disappearing.
So he's not in complete remission yet, right? It's just
Yeah.
more like it's, okay.
I would say he's like mostly there, but
Okay.
not all the way. So
Okay.
he
And
like he's a genius composer. I'm gonna just tell you that right now.
Really.
I wish him the best. I really do.
Me
same.
too.
So like all that music that you were playing before Anima, like I was surprised when you put on Sophia the Goddess in your stream.
No, it's just from when you
Yeah,
when you showed it to me. I put it in my stream playlist.
yeah, I was surprised, but yeah, I wish Soken the best. But that fan fest, that was very heartwarming though. That was very heartwarming. Panic, you were about to say something.
Oh, I was about to say you lied earlier when you said last but not least. Really, last but not least, our dear good friend Skeptic, who's missing.
Oh,
He's not here. You can find him on Newgrounds. I believe it's MC.
all right, that's the end of the show, everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Still putting people on milk cartons. Even after all of that. All right.
Okay, he's a cloud chaser. He's only 3-star. He needs to chase that
Yeah,
cloud.
him and his dark privilege.
You can, but yes, you can find Skeptic on Newgrounds. His series is called Arms. It is a sprite-based animation, and you know, go watch it. I would say,
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I would say,
Good.
yeah, he's been inspired by certain people, but I'll let you guys figure that out.
And we bias.
And the only way you're
I
gonna
mean-
figure that out is if you watch his series. So go watch his series.
Yeah.
Mm,
Do it now.
Soon to be
do
on
it now.
You're doing it and doing it and doing it now.
All right, we gotta end this.
All right. I'll
Don't make
see
this
you-
any twit longer than it has to be.
Oh god, no.
Cut him off. Yes, cut sync off already.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Adios, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and an awesome week. We'll see you next time.